Ooh, la,
What's up, YouTube? We back with another one. About to get into why. Well, I'm sorry. We're about to get into what drinking did to me. I ain't realized what this stuff started doing to me until I really started coming to grips with why I need to stop. And so, as you live and as you move on, you're gonna start to realize that things that you went through, all that stuff is gonna start to come in together, and you're gonna start to realize why you went through it. So, what I'm saying is, what made me come to grips with what it did to me, I had to become self-aware. That's what I'm saying. Basically, I had to become self-aware of what it was doing to me, so I could be able to move on and say, you know what, enough is enough. I'm tired. I'm done. I need to move on. So the first thing, I got a couple. I'm gonna go through a couple things. I might even make this a two-part series because it's a lot. You know, it's a lot of stuff, and I've been through a lot of things, and it's a lot of stuff that I need to get out so I can, I basically got to give y'all my story so y'all can be able to learn from my mistakes, because I don't want people out there making my mistakes, especially them young dudes that's coming up right now. All my young guys coming up, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I don't want y'all making the same mistakes I did when I was y'all age. Basically, I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna do my best not to get emotional on this subject, but the first thing, I realized that alcohol made me bitter. What I mean by bitter, um, because it was making me so demotivated and things like that. It was making me demotivated to do the things that I really wanted to do, making me demotivated to pursue the things I wanted to pursue. It was making me bitter. So, you know, I would be. I used to dream of things that I wanted to do and things like that, and I would quickly shut that shit. I would shut it down because I'm sorry, my head all low. I would shut it down because I wasn't motivated to do it, so I would just shut it down. Things like, I want to get back in shape. I would shut it down because I was demotivated to do it. I was making excuses. You don't want to be that person making excuses. Trust me, you don't want to do that. It just, it made me bitter to a lot of my past relationships. I was bitter on things that happened to me in the past, and a whole bunch of things that I can't even control, which is, driving up your anxiety and things like that, because you sitting up here stressing out on things that you could be doing, but you're not doing them because you're not motivated, because you too busy drinking. The next thing, it made me feel old. I actually was researching this not earlier. People who are heavy drinkers, alcohol, it starts to break your body down. And I actually have a history of this now, because I just realized, now that I did my research, I understand this. But I was when I would go to the hospital sometimes and they would, do my blood checks, they would always say I'm low in vitamin D. And one thing that alcohol does is it basically thins out your, I wouldn't say thins out your bones, but it gets that vitamin D up out of you, so your bones just start to weaken and things like that. So if you gonna drink, you need to at least make sure you popping vitamin D pills or something, because other than that, you're gonna be feeling that in your back. You're gonna be feeling it in your knees crackling. When you waking up, you popping knuckles and you cracking knees and all that. You getting out of bed and knuckles is just popping and cracking. So you want to take care of yourself, right? You either gonna have to stop, slow it down, figure out a way to get your vitamin D levels up. You better go out there and soak up some sun or something. It's weird because I didn't. Now that I realize this now. I started having back problems when I was in the army, and now that I realize, okay, shoot, all that drinking was probably sucking the vitamin D down out of my body, and now all of a sudden I just got this bulging disc in my lower back. Probably should have been thinking about, the things I was getting myself into. like I said, when it made me bitter. But another thing that I also have is that it killed my ambition and my, my aspirations to do anything. I was demotivated. When I first got into the army, I used to be talking all this. I used to be talking all this big shit about how I was trying to get high PT scores, and I wanted to be in tip top shape and all of that, which is crazy because in those months in basic training and AIT, I was actually striving for those goals and I was getting there. Like, I was really getting there. One of the things about me is that I'm trying to, okay, I said in my first video, I'm trying to see my six pack abs. When I got out of AIT, I could see my top two abs. And after that, I let it go because that's what, hey, I'm out of training, I can drink now and do whatever I want to do, and that's what happened. I've never seen them abs since. I've never seen them top two abs since. It made me make poor diet decisions, especially like I was a heavy drinker, so it made me make poor diet decisions. When you drinking, you thinking about that cheeseburger. You're not thinking about no salad, and even that, drinking itself got them empty calories, so you swelling yourself up just lifting that cup up. Like, so it's like it's almost pointless. You got all them empty calories that you gotta burn. You might as well fast because it's not easy keeping your body in shape when you drinking heavy. I'm letting you know that right now. It messed up my relationships, and I'm gonna get straight into that. When I first started drinking, I was in a relationship that ended up turning into a long distance relationship because I had left to go to the army. And my girlfriend at the time, whenever we would get into arguments, I would jump straight to drinking. I remember one time, it was right before I had to go to Korea. It was right before I had to go to Korea, man. Alcohol had me like, man, fuck this relationship. And I really wasn't feeling that way. I really cared for the relationship, and I messed that all up because I was drinking. I was trying to have fun. I was trying to be young. I remember one time we had a layover in Seattle before we went to Korea because there was like some type of tsunami in Japan or something. So they had not a layover. They had they had a delay, like a 4-day delay. So I'm in Seattle, and I was chilling with one of the dudes that I was in training. I had went to training with and everything, and I wasn't even old enough yet. I think I was 20. I was 20. He would buy beer. He bought like, I remember he bought a 12 pack of beer, and he was going through some shit with his wife or what. Yeah, he was married. He was going through some shit with his wife, and as he going through these arguments on the phone with his wife, I'm like, fuck that, I'm about to have a drink. And at the same time, I'm having an argument with my girl. We texting though in an argument, and I just stopped texting her back. I'm throwing these beers. I think I had like 6 beers, and I did the wildest shit that same night. Like, you make poor decisions when you going off that alcohol, especially beer. Beer, I had pulled away from beer too as I got further in experience in my drinking career. But I remember when we was in training, one of my friends told me about Backpage. Don't laugh at me, man. Please don't laugh at me. I'm not even embarrassed about it. I like telling my stories because at the end of the day, I can look back and laugh at these shits. So one of my friends told me about Backpage, and I remember I was fucked up drunk in my hotel room. I'm looking on Backpage. I'm hitting these girls up on Backpage and shit. Thank God I was so drunk that I passed out in the middle of trying to, order me a hooker or whatever the fuck I was trying to do. I'm grateful that I didn't make no dumbass mistake like that, but it led me to that. It led me to that. If I wasn't that drunk, I probably would have went all the way through with some shit like that. Would have paid for it and everything. I probably would have did that. I was young. I had a little bit of money in my pocket. I could do it. I can afford it. I didn't care. I really didn't care. One of my worst decisions that I've ever made in my life, and I'm probably gonna have to make a separate video for that because it's a long story. It starts out with me making, deciding to get married at 21, and that's for a whole nother video. Another thing was it made me weak. And what I mean was it made me emotional. It made me, made me insecure. It really started making me insecure because as a man, real men as a man, when you have aspirations and you see your aspirations slipping away from you because you fucking it up and you not even taking the time to build yourself up to get to those aspirations, you doing everything to self-destruct. Like I said in the last video, we want self-construction, not self-destruction. So when you self-destructing, you just becoming weaker and weaker and weaker mentally, and that's what was going on. I was starting to deal with depression, anxiety, guilt, all those types of things. Let me see if I can give y'all an example of a time that I probably felt really down. The same girl I was talking about having that argument, I was fucked up drunk. I made a mistake even before that decision off some alcohol that I'm not even going to bring up too much about it, but because of my decisions, it caused me and her to break up. I already knew the relationship was going to be over, and so she broke up with me when I was in Korea, and when she broke up with me over there, that drove me to drink even more because I was depressed. And how I knew I was depressed was because I used to have my boys in my unit all the time, like, man, when you gonna come hang out? When you gonna come hit the streets with us and this and that? And I'm too busy being depressed and I'm drinking alone. Ain't nothing worse than being depressed and drinking alone. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's sad and you get emotional. You look like a fucking clown because you by yourself and you emotional and you calling out for help. You don't know where to turn. You might as well say emotionally you balled up in the corner like this crying, but because you just don't know what to do. But yeah, those are some of the things that alcohol did to me. I'm gonna come up with another video based off of this, with more things, because it's done a whole lot of things to me that I'm not proud of. But I can look back and I can laugh and I can talk about this stuff because I don't want people to deal with the same thing that I dealt with. I want people to learn from my mistakes and move on with their head up and go out there and get what's theirs instead of sitting around being a victim to life, So make sure you like, comment, leave your comments below, like, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna get back to y'all. Please make sure y'all asking questions or whatever it is so I can help y'all, and it'll help me be able to make content out of that. Trust me, I'm telling you, I'm here to help y'all, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'll see y'all in the next video.